Hmm. Irrigation purpose, ma'am.
Irrigation purpose. Tell me, what is the meaning of wetlands? What do you mean by river?
River,
What do you
ma'am.
mean? Ah, yes. What do you mean by river? Because the characteristic of a river and the wetland is quite similar. So the characteristic of a river and a wetland is quite similar.
Naturally flowing, ma'am.
Okay, very good. So this is naturally flowing streams. What about wetland?
Wetland, ma'am, it is generally uh,
Have you seen wetland?
have I'm seen, ma'am.
Yes, where you have seen?
Uh,
Where you have seen wetland? You stay in
well,
Haryal, right?
yes, ma'am.
While traveling to Belgavi, there is a small wetland is there.
Yes, ma'am.
It is nothing but a lake. I don't know which is that lake. So when you are going to travel to Belgavi, there is a small lake which is present near to Haryal. I don't know which is that lake. So that lake or a water storing on a particular surface is called as a wetland. Keri antir nodri.
Ma'am.
That is called as a wetland. Okay. The characteristic of a river and the wetland are similar. The characteristic of a river and a wetland is similar. Now, why it is necessary to study this subject? Okay, because
Uh,
there are lot of things which are there, and some of the things we even don't know why it is necessary to conserve the wetlands that we are going to study here. In the yesterday's class, we discussed about the regulations, rules and regulations applied for wetland management. Okay, there are some rules and regulations are there for a river. Simultaneously, there are some rules and regulations are there for wetland. Okay, because river water is generally used for different purposes, whereas wetland water is also used. Okay, but nowadays what the people are doing, there are two types of wetlands are there. Simultaneously, two types of rivers. One is perennial river and another one is non-perennial river. What do you mean by perennial river? All the 12 months you are going to see the availability of the water in the river. Whereas non-perennial rivers are nothing but these are the rivers only in case of a rainy and winter season you are going to see the availability of the water in the river. So similarly, there are two types of wetlands are there. One is perennial and another one is non-perennial. Perennial wetlands are those wetlands where the availability of the water will be throughout the year. Okay, whereas non-perennial wetlands are nothing but only for a particular season the availability of the water will be there in the wetland. Okay, so there are some rules and regulations are there, so which are designated for the wetland management. So the wetland are also given equal importance as we are going to give the importance for the rivers. So in yesterday's class we discussed about the different man-made wetlands. So these comes under man-made wetlands, and apart from that we also discussed about the different areas which are suitable for the wetlands. So in today's class I will be explaining you about the delineating of the wetlands. So what is the meaning of delineating? What do you mean by delineating? So these are the wetland authorities. So ministry in charge and chief secretary. So all these persons are responsible for wetland management. So today we are going to discuss about delineating wetlands. Delineating is nothing but describing presentation Okay, presenting a wetlands. So how we are going to present a wetland? So after the wetlands have been identified for notification under the wetland rules, the next step involves describing the wetlands. Okay, so rivers, they are described depending upon the area, depending upon the type. Simultaneously, the wetlands are also going to be described from each other. Okay, so depending upon their zones of influence, the wetlands are distinguished and they are described. For describing wetlands, it is necessary to be aware of distinguishing the characteristics. Okay, so there are different characteristics of wetlands are there. So that characteristics are distinguished, they are written, they are identified. So wetlands arise when inundation by water produces soil dominated by aerobic process. So what does this sentence indicates? What do you mean by inundation? Water arise when inundation of water produced or produces soil dominated by aerobic process. What do you mean by inundation? What is the meaning of inundation? Can anybody tell me what you mean by inundation? What do you mean by inundation? You all are there? Anpurna, Ismail, Pratiksha, Sujata, you all are there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what do you mean by inundation? How does the water gets accumulated in the wetlands? How the water gets accumulated in the wetland? Due to the undulation. Okay, so due to the undulation, so think that this is the ground surface and this is the undulated area. So here what happens, the rainwater which is flowing, it is collected in the wetland. Okay, due to that what happens, the availability of the water in the wetland takes place. So in this case, it also depends upon the turn forces the biota, particularly rooted plants, to adopt to flooding. So here what happens, here you might have seen there are various plants which are growing on the surface of these particular wetlands. So we are going to call it as a marshes. Okay, so marshes are nothing but these are the plants which are available in the water itself. They are aquatic plants. They grow inside water itself. Okay, so here what happens, as and when the water starts collecting into the wetland, you are going to see some rooted plants which are present on the surface of the wetland. So here certain characteristic of wetlands are there. Permanent or periodic inundation or saturated soil throughout the year or during the part of the year. As I explained earlier, there are two types of wetlands are there. So one is perennial and second one is non-perennial. So perennial is nothing but it is a permanent. So we are going to call it as a permanent wetland. Okay, periodic inundation. Periodic inundation is nothing but there are some wetlands where periodically the water is going to be accumulated in the wetlands. Next, it should contain some saturated soil throughout the year. So soil also is one of the things which is going to be considered while identifying the characteristic of a wetland. Suppose this particular wetland consists of a sandy soil, then what happens, as and when the water comes and stores in the wetland, the excess water will be percolated inside the ground and no water will be available in the wetlands. So if the water is soil is completely saturated, then you can see the water available in the wetland, and there are some wetlands where the water availability will be only during the part of the years. So depending upon that situation, they are going to identify the characteristic. Suppose if you wanted to use the water for some recreational purpose, then you have to check whether it is a permanent wetland or a non-permanent wetland. So depending upon that condition, we can utilize that water. Next comes presence of microphytes adapted to wet conditions. So there are microphytes are nothing but these are the aquatic plants which are present in the water. Okay, and next, soil that are saturated or flooded long enough favoring development of aerobic condition. So here certain soils are there which are going to absorb the water, and when this soil, when they completely absorb the water, the soil get saturated and the flooding will takes place. So I will give an example of a black cotton soil. You take the black cotton soil, then it is having a good saturation rate. So as and when you are going to pour the water, so the water will be completely filled into this particular black cotton soil, and the black cotton soil attains the saturity at a faster rate. Whereas if you take an example of a sandy soil or a soil which contains gravels, then here what happens, as soon as the water poured in this surface, the water get absorbed and the water due to the gravity flows to the groundwater. Okay, so this is the difference between the saturation. So the soil saturation also depends on flooding. So, and it will develop an anaerobic condition. Anaerobic is nothing but it is a process where the bacteria is going to absorb, or they are going to feed the oxygen which is present in the water. Next comes water create wetlands. So water comes and stores and that create a wetland. The biological composition of wetlands, from fish to migrating water birds, depending on the way water moves within the or within a wetland. So yesterday I have explained the wetlands are also constructed in forest area. Okay, so why it is constructed in forest area? For the purpose of water birds and also for the animals, so that they come and drink the water. So the water creates the wetlands. So here the hydrological regime may therefore be used as a primary description characteristic for defining wetland boundaries. So yesterday we have discussed what is the exact meaning of a wetland boundaries. So here where two or more wetland exist with a high degree on hydrological connectivity, for example, wetlands connected during monsoon or ecological connectivity. So these can be described as a single complex. In such a cases, non-wetland area may be included within the boundary of the complex to ensure connectivity and continuity. So here the wetlands are connected to each other. Suppose if there are more than one wetland, so if there are more than one wetland, so these wetlands are connected to each other, and here the movement of water, so the connectivity will be in the form of a continuity or complex to ensure connectivity. The best example for this two wetlands are, so have you seen the lakes which are located in the Nigdi? So when you are going to travel through Nigdi, have you seen the two twin lakes which are there in Nigdi? How many of you have seen? How many of you are going to travel from Dharwad? Anpurna, are you going to travel from Dharwad?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So have you seen the twin lakes which are available in Nigdi?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So those are nothing but wetlands, connected wetlands. So both the wetlands are connected to each other. So here what happens, the hydrological connectivity is identified. So once one wetland get filled, automatically the other is also going to be filled. Simultaneously, we need to check whether the wetlands are connected to each other or not. So it depends upon the boundary conditions. So yesterday we discussed about the recommended scale for wetlands and the wetland complex areas. So there are different zones are there. So even depth of wetland also plays a vital role in identifying the characteristic of a wetland. So we are going to call it as a shallow lakes and hollow openings. So shallow and hollow is nothing but these are the two terms. Shallow is nothing but if the depth of excavation is less than 3 meter, then we are going to call it as a shallow. If the depth of excavation is more than 3 meter, then we are going to call it as a hollow. So as the depth increases, the less water is going to evaporate from the surface. So therefore, the depth of the wetland is also plays a vital role here. So here, the management of notified wetland is recommended to be based on a wise use approach. Human beings and their use of resources from an essential component of wetland ecosystem dynamics. The wise use approach recognizes that restriction, wetland loss, and degradation requires incorporation of leakages between people and wetland. So here, whenever the wetland is described, the water balance equation is going to be identified. So how we are going to designate water balance equation? How we are going to write the water balance equation? Yes, can anybody tell me how we are going to write a water balance equation? How we are going to write water balance equation? Okay, so let me explain you. This is inflow and this is outflow.
Ma'am,
Yes.
total flow equal to inflow plus outflow.
Yes, very good. It is total flow, which we are going to take it as a delta T. It is inflow minus outflow. Okay. So here inflow, say around there is some 5,000 liters of water is going to be contributed to the wetland. Okay. So here this is nothing but taken as an inflow. Inflow will be always positive. Outflow will be always negative. Okay, so here you can see inflow will be always positive and outflow will be always negative. So inflow is say around 5,000. So does the 5,000 liters of water will stay in this particular wetland? ಇಲ್ಲಿ 5,000 ಲೀಟರ್ ಆಫ್ ವಾಟರ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ವೆಟ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಈ 5,000 ಲೀಟರ್ ಸೇಮ್ ಇರುತ್ತಾ ವೆಟ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ? Is it going to increase or is it going to decrease?
Decrease, ma'am.
How it is going to decrease?
Because some part of the water flows outside, or
Yes,
some
very good.
part of water gets into the
Okay.
soil.
So I am going to, okay. So inflow is taken as positive. Minus. Due to evaporation, the water may get lost. So that is minus evaporation. Minus. The roots of the plants are going to absorb the water. Due to transpiration, again the loss of water takes place. Due to that, evapotranspiration takes place. So this is evapotranspiration. After that, some quantity of water seeps inside the soil. It percolates, and this is also loss. Okay, so that is called as a percolation loss. After that, if this particular wetland is completely filled, then the excess water will flow as a outflow, minus outflow. Okay. Apart from that, here there is another inflow is there. Inflow may be either in terms of a runoff, the water which is flowing on the surface of the ground, it is going to contribute to the wetland. Apart from that, there may be chances of precipitation directly takes inside the wetland, on the surface of the wetland. So this is rainfall, or also called as a precipitation. Okay, which falls directly on the wetland. So that is plus rainfall. So the water which contributes to the wetland is taken as a positive. The water which is get lost from the wetland is taken as a negative. So this is called as a water balance equation. So the total availability of water is calculated by these terms. So this is called as a water balance equation. Okay. So to maintain this wetland management, we should identify what is the wetland losses and the degradation. By that you will come to know the water budget equation. Next comes the Ramsar Convention. Ramsar Convention defines the wise use of wetlands as the maintenance of their ecological character. So it is achieved through the implementation of ecosystem approaches within the context of a suitable development. So here the wise use, though an emphasis on suitable development, calls for resource use pattern which can ensure the human dependence on wetlands. So this comes under maintenance of the ecological characteristic achieved through the implementation of ecosystem approach, that is called as a Ramsar Convention. So here some ecological characteristics are there. It is the combination of ecosystem components, processes and services that typify the wetland at a given point of time. So here the ecological characteristic includes geomorphic setting. So geomorphic setting is nothing but it is the landscape, catchment and river basin. Okay, so you need to identify what is the catchment area, how is the landscape, and is it comes nearer to the river basin. So study of these things comes under geomorphic settings. Next comes the climate. So what is the precipitation occurring at that particular area, whether it comes in a arid region or a semi-arid region. Next, wind velocity, temperature, evaporation, humidity. Precipitation, we are going to measure it by certain equipment. Which is that equipment? How we are going to identify the rainfall? Which equipments are used to check the rainfall data? How we are going to identify the precipitation? How we are going to identify the precipitation? ಈಗ rainfall data ಹೇಗೆ identify ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ? ಯಾವ equipment use ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ? Which equipment you are going to use there? Precipitation measuring device. What we are going to call it as? It is called as a rain gauge. Rain gauge station. So what is this rain gauge stations? So these are the areas from which we are going to collect the rainfall data. Okay, suppose if you are going to construct any wetland, make sure that whether there is a sufficient rainfall occurs or not. If there is no rainfall, then what is the need of constructing the wetland? Okay, so precipitation, wind velocity, temperature. So if the temperature is very high, then the store water get easily evaporated back, then no need of constructing the wetland. Apart from that, evaporation losses. So this is identified by using evaporation pan, ISI standard pan. By that we'll come to know what is the evaporation and what is the humidity. Okay, whenever you are going to construct a wetland, so you need to ensure all these things. Next, physical setting. Physical setting is nothing but area. Okay, so the wetland which is constructed, it should serve the water for a particular area and it should have certain boundaries. Okay, so why it is necessary to set the boundaries is, so there are some residential areas which are available nearer to the wetlands. If the boundaries are not set here, then if the wetlands are completely flooded, then the excess water will come and accumulate at the places of a residential buildings. So therefore, the boundaries, setting the boundaries is very much important. Next, topography. So the topographies need to be identified by counter maps. Shape of the wetland. So these are the different physical settings which are identified, and the connectivity is very important. And water regime condition, that is inflow, outflow, balance. So this is nothing but water balance equation which I have already discussed. Inflow, outflow, balance, that is water budget equation. Surface groundwater interaction, inundation, tidal regime, and quality of the wetland. So these are the terms which comes under water regime condition. Then wetland soil, texture of the soil, chemical and biological properties of the soil is identified. If suppose soil contains certain mineral components, okay, the wetland you have constructed here, it contains more number of minerals, then what is the use of constructing that wetland? The water is of not use because it contains more number of minerals. So therefore, the soil characteristic or a texture is identified before constructing the wetland. Next comes the biota. Biota are nothing but these are the plants and animal communities which are or the aquatic life which are available in the wetlands. So why it is necessary to grow the plants and animals in the wetland? Because the plants and the animals, it generally purifies the water. Okay, because there are some animals which eat the bacteria, which feeds on the bacteria and some minute microorganisms. So because of that, because of the biota, the water get be it is automatically treated. Okay, this is regarding the wetland management. And another thing I wanted to discuss about the wetland. So my dear students, there are certain plants are there which are going to feed the bacteria. So have you seen a plant which eats the insect? Have you heard about a plant which eat insect? ಕೇಳಿರಿ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಇನ್ಸೆಕ್ಟ್ ನ ತಿಂತೈತಿ. Have you heard it? Madhu, Ismail, Pratiksha, Sahana, Sujata, Annapurna.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you seen a plant which eats the insects? Which is that plant?
Pitcher plant.
Pitcher plant, or also it is called as a Nepenthes. Am I right?
Yes,
Nepenthes.
ma'am.
Okay, so those particular plant, it eats the insect. Simultaneously, there are some plants are there which is going to eat the bacteria or the sewage. Okay, so nowadays in other countries, what they are going to do, you know, they are going to construct a small tank. The water which is available from the bathrooms and kitchen, they are going to allow to stand in this particular tank, and they are growing these plants on the surface of the water. These plants, they eat the bacteria which are available in the water. It can also feed the sewage, and the sewage water is treated. Okay, the food for these particular plants are sewage. So these plants are grown on the surface of the water, and naturally the water is treated here. Okay, in our country, what we are going to do, we are going to send the water for treatment for different stages. Okay, in the first case, the grit particles are removed. Then it is sent for sedimentation tank. After that, we are going to add some coagulations. After that, the water is purified. Next, we are going to send it for a disinfection. After that, the chlorination. Okay, next the water is distributed to the localities. So here what happens, the water is discharged into a particular tank, and these plants, they are going to eat the sewage. Okay, and the water is purified. But for both the cases, so the second case, that is the plants which feeds the sewage, this is the slow process. It takes more amount of time, whereas the first method, that is using chemicals and purifying the water, it takes a less amount of time. So therefore this particular method is rarely used in our country. Okay, so therefore biota, that is plant and animal communities, so these helps in purifying the wetlands. So these are the wetland use for the reduction in the water flow into the wetlands. So these are the intervention leads to adverse changes in the ecosystem components. So these are the few types of wetlands, that is lagoons, lake, marsh, urban lake. So it is divided into 4 categories, and these are the intervention, and these are the ecosystem services, and these are the diminished services. So regarding this thing, I'm going to explain you in the next class. So with this particular thing, I'm going to send some few assignments where you need to, there is a particular time duration for submitting the assignment. Assignment will be in the form of an objective type question, no need to write, and this, the marks which you are going to allotted for the assignment is considered for the final examination. Okay, so this particular add-on course is similar to that of NPTEL. So where for each and every lecture, the assignment will be given. So the assignment will be in the form of an objective type, and the marks which you are going to score in the assignment, each and every assignment will be considered for a final examination. Okay, so once after examination, the certificate will be produced for you. So is there any doubts, my dear students?
No, ma'am.
Is there any doubts? So I am going to cover both the subjects, that is hydrology and as well as the wetland management, because both the subjects are similar. But in hydrology, we are going to study about the rivers and all, rainfall data, rivers and all. Simultaneously, it is a wetland. But the study is common for both river, hydrology and wetland is same. So is there any doubts? Is there any doubt? Anpurna? Anpurna, are you there? Raise your hands, those who are present. Please raise your hands, those who are present. Okay, so the assignment will be given for you through the Microsoft Teams. So go through the assignment, and there is a deadline for the assignment. After that, the assignment will be disabled. Okay. Okay, my dear students, this is all for today. Happy Dashera for all of you. Enjoy the festival, and thank you.